We've made it to my most favorite pose of all. It is day 14 of the gratitude series. Whether you're joining us for the first time or the 14th time, you just know that today you are in for a treat. Ustrasana, Camel Pose. It does not get any better than that. Stay tuned. Lots of great things coming your way. Start off in a seated position where you are on your shins. We're going to need some power all right here in our core, in our quads, in our thighs, in our hamstrings. So we're going to do some things along the way to open up those body parts, to get them ready, to get them engaged, and then they will usher us into the pose of Ustrasana. So we're going to sit right here. So you're on your shins, so you're kind of sitting on your heels. And if this is bothersome for you, don't worry, we're not going to be here long, but I need you to feel that sensation of being here. So we're going to start off getting our breath together. So just have your hands on your shins, on your thighs. And we're actually going to roll through some cat-cow poses here while we're on our shins, just to get the spine moving, the neck moving, and to connect the breath. All right? So hands are going to be right here on our thighs. The way we do it is we inhale to cow and we look up, we open up our heart. We exhale to cat, we roll forward and we kind of arch our back. Chin comes toward the chest. Doesn't have to touch the chest. Just comes that direction. So here we go. Hands are on the thighs. All right, inhale, shoulders drop, head tips back. It's a little bit of a back bend, and then exhale, roll the shoulders towards your ears, roll your chin toward your chest. Inhale, drop the shoulders, look up. Exhale, shoulders toward the ears, chin toward the chest. It's just a baby little movement. Inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. One more. Inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. Now release those hands down alongside you. Maybe you can roll a little more. Inhale cow. Exhale cat. Two more. Inhale cow. Exhale cat. Notice the spots when you're trying to arch and drop the head. Where is it a little tight? Last one. And exhale cat. All right, come back up. So from here, we take your right arm, stretch it high up above your head, take the right hand, put it on that right shoulder blade. Left hand grabs the elbow, pulls it up toward the ceiling. Sit up nice and tall. Breathe. We are lengthening through our spine all the way to the crown of our head. Continue to breathe. Tugging on that right elbow. A couple more breaths. Lift the left arm and take the right arm back down. Ooh, roll those shoulders a couple times, and let's do the other side. Left hand goes up. Turn and bend that elbow so that we are bringing our left hand to our shoulder blade. Right hand comes up. Grab the left elbow. Pull it toward the ceiling. Take the gaze straight ahead. That's going to ensure that you are sitting up nice and tall. Breathe. Release the right hand. Uncurl that left. Let's come onto all fours. We're going to keep the cat-cow coming, or keep the cat-cow going. So you're on all fours. You're making a tabletop position with your body. So here we go. Fingers spread wide. Inhale as you drop your belly. Look up. Exhale. Arch the back. Chin to the chest. Same movement, but now we're in all fours. Inhaling to cow. Exhaling to cat. Don't force it. Just let the spine and the neck start to move with the breath. Let's do three more. Cow and cat. Two more. Cow and cat. Last one. Drop that belly and arch the back. All right. From here, I want you to take your hands, walk them out in front of you. Let your bottom kind of stick up in the air. So hands are going way up at the top of the mat. Bring the forehead down. And feel the stretch in the backs of your arms. Forehead is on the mat. We are breathing. So this is all about the upper body. Our heart is melting down toward the mat. Forehead making contact with the mat. Keep stretching those hands. If your elbows are super bent and you're feeling, okay, I don't feel this in my arms, then straighten those arms. So gauge your strength by how you're moving your elbows. If the elbows are really bent and you're not feeling the stretch, that means start to straighten them just a little bit. Feel the strength of your arms from the shoulders all the way down through your wrist. One more breath here. And then slowly come up. And once you're here, I want you to stay on your knees and on your shins. If at any point this becomes too much for you, you can grab a blanket, you can grab a towel. You can always have that under your knees if your knees are kind of your troublesome point, okay? So again, we won't be here too long. What I want you to do is come onto your knees. Just stand nice and tall. Bring your arms overhead. Stretch high toward the ceiling. Bring the hands together. Make a steeple grip so your biceps are right by your ears. Let me turn so you can see. Steeple grip your hands so the pointer fingers are going up, and now I want you just to look up just a little bit. So as soon as you looked up, you should have felt your low back kick in just a bit. Hold right here. So we're rooted down into our shins and our knees. We're gazing up toward the ceiling. Stay right here for just a couple more breaths. Release the hands down, and let's have a seat on our bottom. So we're coming into a couple rounds of boat. So I'm going to kind of turn catty corner. That way you can see it from both angles. From the front, what's going to happen is our legs are going to lift and our gaze is going to go up. And we're going to do our boat today where our hands are behind our knees, because what I want you to really focus on is the closeness of your chest to your thighs, because we're working on engaging the core, and instead of trying to do it from the core, we're going to bring chest to thighs, and then the core is going to do whatever it is that we need. All right? So come into what we call the seated position on the bony parts of your bottom. So move the flesh out of the way. We call those your sit bones. So here we are. Feet are flat. Draw them in to your chest. Take your hands, slide them behind the thighs, so right here, and then start to lift your legs. Elbows come out, and now you look up. So we're easing our way into boat right here. Now, there's so many different levels of this. If you don't need the hands behind the knees, you pull them out. You do whatever you do for your boat. But this is a really nice introductory, nice way for us to find our way to boat. Still stabilizing the balance, still bringing the chest toward the thighs and working the core. Breathe. Go ahead and bring the legs back down. Cross them into Sukhasana, that easy seat, hands on the knees. Look up, lift the chest. This is your relief right here. You got to remember, in your core muscles, that includes your low back. And so you can tell right here, as we relieve the low back, how much you were using it in boat. Let's do it one more time. Same thing. Bring the knees up, feet are flat. Slide those hands underneath, in between the thigh and in between the hamstring and the calf. And here we go. Lift up, knees come up, so your shins are parallel, arms are out, gaze goes up. Breathe. Use the power of those arms to help stabilize you. That gives you a little more confidence. Keep looking up, keep breathing. All those muscles of your core are engaged, strengthening from the inside out. 2 more breaths. And lower down, hands come onto the knees, cross the legs, lift up this little seated cow right here, and feel that relief right there in your low back. That's how you know you were working it. All right, speaking of core, it's time for plank. So we're going to do 2 rounds of forearm plank. We're going to do each round 5 breaths. I've been doing 5 and 10, but we're going to do each round 5 because I want you to challenge yourself to try to keep your knees up for all 5 breaths, both rounds. All right? If that becomes impossible and you're thinking there's no way, then you put your knees down. But remember, we keep the toes curled. We're on the balls of our feet. We don't let the shins rest. All right, here we come. So we're coming into all fours again. We're going to find our way into forearm plank. So take the forearms, put them down. So elbow, forearm, hands. Everything is down. Bottom's kind of sticking up just a little bit. Keep the hands out or clasp them together and make a V. Either way, you got to kind of play with it and see what stabilizes you better. Let's send the left leg back, so your left knee is now up. Send your right leg back. Let's get into position, and now we breathe. 5 breaths. You've got this. 4, 3, 2, 1. You did it. Knees down. Take a child's pose. Hands stay up above the head. Chest comes down toward the thighs. Bow the head toward the mat. Maybe the head touches the mat. Maybe it doesn't. But this is your child's pose. This is your restorative pose that counters what you're doing in plank. We bring restoration to our body so that our body is ready for whatever we're asking of it next. So breathe here in child's pose, knowing you've got one more plank ahead of you, but it's so good for you. All right, slowly come up. We're back to all fours. I know coming out of child's pose is like having to get out of bed in the morning. It just feels so good you don't want to leave. But here we go. This feels good too. It's just a different kind of good. Forearms come down. Your bottom's kind of sticking up, but we're going to get it all nice and lowered whenever we bring our legs out. So here we go. Left leg out, right leg out. Now check your butt. If it's sticking way up, start to bring it down a tiny bit. Here we go. 5 breaths. We're trying to make it truly a plank, a board from the crown of our head out through our heels. And yes, I'm still counting breaths. There's 3 left. Last one. Inhale. And you did it. Exhale. One more child's pose. Knees down, push back. And that wasn't so bad. Take a child's pose. Reconnect. And think about the breath when we first began as you lie there in child's pose. Remember, inhaling deeply, filling up the chest. Exhaling completely, letting all the breath go. Inhaling deeply, filling up through that chest. Exhaling completely, emptying out all the breath. One more. And then begin to bring yourself up, and let's find our way to standing. We can't have a flow without having a flow. So when we call this a flow class, that means we got a flow. You know a sun salutation is coming. So let's start off, find your standing position in mountain pose, somewhere toward the top of your mat. So once you're here, check your position. Shoulders over hips, hips over ankles. And remember, it's the bony parts of your hips, not the outer fleshy parts. Nice alignment. So the legs are not spread out. We're making beautiful alignment, stacked everything on top of each other. Stand tall. Arms are alongside you. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Gaze goes to the ceiling. Palms come together. Exhale, hinge and fold. And as you're hinging and folding, bend those knees as much as you need to. So we're not trying to stretch to get our hands to the ground. We're just trying to bend the knees as much as we need to so we can relax the head. So maybe the hands are coming down. Maybe you're grabbing opposite elbows. Whatever you're going to do, I need you to hang and look at your knees. We're looking at our knees, which ensures that we're releasing the tension down the back of our neck. Because if you're looking at your feet, you've still got tension in your neck. You're trying to strain. So look at the knees. Breathe here. Release the hands from wherever they are. Slide them onto your shins. We're going to spend a few breaths in half lift. So what I want you to do is press the hands onto the shins and pull the shoulders back as you look straight ahead. So when you look straight ahead and you pull the shoulders back slightly, you should have felt this in the hamstrings. Maybe you felt it other places as well, but I know your hamstrings are stretching because we're trying to extend our chest forward, which means our hamstrings have got to stretch. They've got to stabilize us right here. Keep breathing. And now start to bend the knees. Put the hands on the mat. Step one foot back. Step the other foot back. We're in high plank. Hold here. Check your form. Fingers should be spread wide. You're on the balls of your feet. Push your heels back. And as you push the heels, you should notice that those thighs really begin to engage. One more breath. Take the knees down. Lower the thighs. Lower the chest as you let all the air out of your body. Flip the feet over. Tops of the feet on the mat. Fingers are still spread wide. On your next inhale, lift your chest, lift your gaze. Cobra. Lower down, put the forehead on the mat. Take the arms, stretch them alongside you so the hands are going toward the feet. We're going to do the same thing with Cobra, but this time instead of having the hands underneath our shoulders, the hands are going to be alongside us. So we're working on lifting the chest. So here we go. Inhale, lift the gaze, hands come up. Right here, hold. So arms are in like that Superman position. Palms are pressing up. Chest is lifting off the mat slightly. You are breathing. Exhale, lower everything down. One more round of this. Take the hands behind you completely. Clasp them together so they're on your bottom. Same exact thing. Hands will lift off the bottom when we lift the chest. Find your breath. Next inhale. Breathe in. Lift the chest. Pull the hands away from your bottom. Breathe. Exhale, lower, release the hands, put them back where they begin. So they're underneath the shoulders, elbows tucked to the side body. Curl your toes. With your next exhale, push back to your knees, lift your hips, take a step in, you're in down dog. Your heels can be up and down dog, your knees can be bent. Either way, your fingers are spread wide. That's the one non-negotiable, because the fingers spreading wide helps to distribute the weight from the whole entire hand so that you're not fatiguing your wrist. Breathe here. We're looking toward our legs. Take the eyes to the hands. Start to walk the feet up, or you can just step one at a time. Hands on the shins, look up halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sweep and rise. Exhale, draw it down. All right, feels like it's been a while since we're back in this mountain position. That was a long sun sound, but we're doing lots of things to get the core, the chest, the low back, everything ready for camel pose and ready for your day. All right, stand tall. We're gonna add a lunge. So here we are, breathe. Breath is the most important. Here we go, sweep up on the inhale. Hands together, exhale, hinge and fold. Hands on the shins, half lift. Take the hands down, step the feet back, hold your high plank. Bring the knees to the mat, inhale. And now exhale the chest down. Flip the feet over, inhale, cobra, look up. Strengthening that low back. Curl the toes, push to the knees, exhale, lift the hips, down dog. So we use the exhale to lift the hips because as the breath empties out, it makes it a lot easier to pull those hips up. Breathe. And now gently start to lift your right foot, bend your right knee, bring the foot in between the hands. Now if that's too difficult, you bring the foot as far as it'll go, grab the calf, and then you pull it up. So here we are, we're coming into this low lunge, but we're gonna keep the back leg straight. And then I want you to bring your arms alongside you, lifting your chest, Superman arms. So we're not rising all the way up into a high lunge. We're staying right here. That left leg is long. You are rooting into that right leg. And as the arms are alongside you, it's forcing your chest to come off your thigh. Breathe. Let's take the hands back down. Step the right foot back. You're back in down dog. We're going to do the other side. Left leg lifts. Bend the left knee. And again, either bring it all the way up, or if you can't, bring it to where it lands, grab your calf, then bring it up. Keep your right leg engaged so it's long, knee is off the mat. Arms come alongside us, right here. Coming into your runner's lunge with Superman arms. Look straight ahead. You're feeling this in the back of that left leg, probably in the left glute a little bit. Really root down into that left foot and breathe. Hands come back down. Take the left foot, step it back. You're in down dog. Eyes are on the feet. Take your knees wide to the edge of your mat. Big toes together. Push back to child's pose. Hands can be high above your head. You can bring them together, whatever works for you, but find your way into child's pose. Balasana. This is where your restoration comes. This is where we've asked things of our body, and in this pose, we're kind of nurturing our body into continuing to do the things that we're asking it to do. And oftentimes in a yoga practice, we're asking a lot of new and sometimes unfamiliar things of our body. Doesn't mean they're unattainable. Doesn't mean they're impossible. It just means that we need to teach our body new ways of taking care of itself. That's what yoga does. 2 more breaths here. Start to bring yourself up. Bring your knees in together. We got to get back to the top of the mat. So curl the toes. Exhale, lift the hips. Down dog. Look at those legs. And now look at the hands. Walk the feet up. Hands on the shins, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sweep the arms, rise up. Exhale, release. There you go. Check, see how your low back's doing. Get you a drink if you need to. We got one more round. We're going to add Just one more thing here that's going to really help us get ready for camel, and then we'll come back down to the mat, and you will see, amazingly enough, in just a few minutes, you've got all the body parts engaged that you need to do Ustrasana camel. Truly opening up our hearts. All right, let's stand tall. You can do this. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Hands on the shins, half lift. Bend the knees, take the hands down, step back to plank, hold here. And this time when we lower in a second, we're staying on our bellies again. So, knees come down, exhale, lower the chest. Flip those feet over, we're gonna stay right here. All right, so hands are still underneath your shoulders, fingers are still spread wide. Take your right heel, bring it toward your bottom. So you're bending the right knee. Take your left heel, bend it toward actually let's bend the left knee and bring the left heel toward your bottom. Take the hands back. If you can reach the feet, great. If you can't, you just reach toward them. So you're kind of moving the arms to try to get the feet back. We're going to keep our gaze down. All I want you to do here, this is not about the upper body. This is about getting those quads ready. So if you're grabbing your feet, fantastic. If you're not grabbing your feet, fantastic. You're grabbing toward them. So keep the heels, almost like you've got a magnet on your heels, trying to come to a metal piece right there on your bottom. So they're drawing toward each other. Feel those quad muscles in your legs stretch. You've got this. One more breath. You're still looking straight down. This is not about the upper body. It's only about the lower body. If you're holding onto your feet, let them go. Heels are still toward the bottom. Bring your hands back where they were, underneath your shoulders. Slowly lower the right. Put it back on the mat. Slowly lower the left. Put it back on the mat. Now take your forearms and let's bring them out. So we're going to bring our forearms out. If you've been hanging with me for a while, you've done Sphinx. It's a really powerful pose. It looks really easy on the surface, but whoo, it gets intense real fast. So hands are spread wide. Elbows are on the mat. The gaze is straight ahead. What I want you to do is, I know you feel it in the low back right now. We're going to do the same thing with our legs. Bend the right knee, bring the heel toward the bottom. So we're looking straight ahead in Sphinx, but we're bringing the right knee in. Just the right side for now. Breathe. I know you're feeling it. It gets intense. I told you really quickly. Inhale. Exhale the knee back down. Foot on the mat. Inhale. Let's bring the left up. Same thing. Heel toward the bottom. I never said your heel has to touch your bottom. It's going toward it. Gaze is straight ahead. Your core muscles are not just about your belly. They are a beautiful corset that wrap all the way around your midsection. And you're feeling it right now in that low back, I know. So it's not back trouble right there. It's core trouble. That means you got to strengthen and empower your core. It solves so many parts of our physical body's life. One more breath. Exhale, put the knee back down. All right, let's take our hands back underneath our shoulders. Curl those toes, but we're not lifting into down dog. Come up. We're coming back onto our shins. So this is how we began our time together, because now I want to show you the power of camel. Now, I told you earlier, if your knees are your issue, you are welcome to always have one of these, handy dandy little yoga blankets, or get a bath towel and just fold it, but don't fold it up all the way. So a really nice thing for a pose like camel, because we are coming onto our knees, is if you've got a towel or you've got a blanket, you put it on the mat, and that gives you some cushion for your knees. Some people don't need it. Some people, their mat is enough, or knees are not their issue. But don't let the stumbling block of pain in your knees cause you not to try an incredible pose like camel. So if you need to press pause, go grab you a bath towel or a blanket off the couch, come back, fold it, get it ready, and then you be ready to rejoin us. And I'm going to actually do it with the blanket under my knees, just to show you. It doesn't change the pose, but it sure helps the knees if knees are your issue. All right, so when you are ready, come on to the spot wherever you're going to be. Knees can be on that blanket. Tops of the feet are on the mat. So I'm going to do this from the side angle first. And then once I get you into it, I'm going to kind of shift my body around so you can see how it looks from different angles. So here we are. Take your hands, put them on your low back so that your fingers are going down. So they're going down, but the hands are right there in that low back, okay? So put them there. Notice how already your shoulders are starting to pull back. And now all I want you to think about in this first round are your elbows. So keep looking straight ahead. Pull the elbows toward each other. It's a tiny movement. Hold here. I know you felt this through these pectoral muscles up here in your chest. You're feeling it in your shoulders, probably even feeling it in your biceps, your triceps, all the way down your arms. Keep pulling the elbows back. You're almost there. And now release. Arms come alongside you. Roll the shoulders back a few times. Roll them forward. Bring the relief. And now we're going to go and we're going to just pull up the intensity just a tiny bit. All right. The beautiful thing about camel is once you find the spot where like, hey, that's my spot. Like this is my jam right here. It's not painful, but it's enough that it's intense that I feel like I'm getting something out of it. So your body's going to tell you where that is. All right. So here we go. Hands are on the back again. All right. Fingertips going down. First thing, take the elbows, pull them toward each other. And now I want you to look up slightly. There's not much happening in the low body. We're just looking up slightly. We're incrementally finding our way into this pose. Keep pulling the elbows back. I know your wrists are feeling it just a little bit. Pull the elbows toward each other. Keep looking up. And now let everything go. Have a seat on your shins. Let's take our wrists, roll them out. Make little circles, roll them in. And now I'm going to get you to that exact same spot that we just were. And some of you might choose to stay there. I'm going to show those of you who are ready how you can go and you can begin to extend the pose. Like I said, it's one of the most beautiful poses for all the different levels. But you got to find where your sweet spot is. Where does your body say, oh, this is what I needed right now. I'm not in pain, but I feel the benefit and the impact of this pose. We want to feel it in our heart, guys. This is all about the heart chakra in camel. Your heart is open as you pull those elbows back, but you're going to feel it other places as well. And you're going to also feel the strength and the health of your spine that you're trying to restore. All right. When we rise up, we're going to think about the elbows for a hot second, but then all I want you to think about at that point are your hips. All right. And I'll tell you why when we get there. Here we go. We're back up. This is the last one. Hands to the back. So remember, we think about the elbows first. So pull the elbows toward each other. Start to look up. Now, as you're looking up, think about the hips. I want you to push your hips forward, and that's going to bring that little back bend into your back. Keep looking up. If you're wanting to go a little deeper, start to curl the toes so your heels are up. Hands can leave the back. Grab the heels. Head hangs back. Keep pushing the hips forward. Lots and lots of options here. If you're thinking, Kelly, hands on the heels ain't happening today. Guys, hands on the low back is just as powerful. Push the hips forward. You have options. All right, breathe. Come back up. And let me show you from the side how that looks when you actually physically push the hips forward. We're not going to do it again, but I want you to know going forward, maybe you actually want to try it again on your own before we lie down for Shavasana. So if you know that you want to try for the deepening of this, we place the hands onto the low back. Elbows come together. Watch my hips. I'm not arching my back. I'm pushing my hips forward. I can curl my toes. I can stay right here, or I can bring my hands to my heels. I'm pushing my hips forward more. I don't stay here long. I come back, have a seat. If you had a blanket or a towel, you can move it out of the way. I'm going to show you what the counter pose is for camel. It's a really nice relief pose called rabbit. So we're still back on our shins. Once you're on your shins, I want you to bring the top of your head. It looks like you're doing a headstand, but you're not. Bring it to the mat as your bottom lifts into the air. Tuck your toes and reach back. Either grab your calves or grab your heels. Squeeze everything together. Ball it all up. So your chin is tucked. Chest coming toward the thighs. Rabbit pose. It is a beautiful counter pose to camel. We ask so much of our spine, but you can't just have flexion or just extension. You can't just move your body one way. You need to have a beautiful balance of both. That's why we have poses like camel, and then we balance them with a counter pose like rabbit. So keep breathing right here, crown of the head on the mat. And now slowly release. As you do, swing those legs out in front of you. Let's do one seated forward fold, and then we'll get ready to lie down for Shavasana. Legs are out. Arms are alongside you. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, lean forward, chest coming down. Hands can drop to the shins, to the ankles, to the feet, whatever you've got. Close your eyes right here. And I tell you to close your eyes because if you leave your eyes open, all you're doing is judging how far you're folding. Knees can have a slight bend in them. You just keep your eyes closed and feel the lengthening of your spine. Breath, reconnecting. Mind, body, spirit, finding a little unity. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, hands down. Bring your feet flat. Scoot your bottom close to your heels. Hang on to your legs as you roll back onto the mat. Tee your arms out. And let's windshield wiper those knees side to side. Let them fall back and forth. Ooh, this should feel really good on that low back. Back and forth. So the arms are teed out. You're just on the mat with the head looking straight up. Maybe the eyes are closed, but we're swishing those knees side to side. Bring the knees back up to center. Bring the right knee into the chest. Hug it. Put it back. Bring the left knee into the chest, hug it in. Put it back. Arms are alongside you. Extend the legs long. Close your eyes. I know your heart is probably beating really strongly right now. It has nothing to do with your physical abilities or your level of fitness. It's beating strongly because Camel is one of the best activators for that heart chakra. When you're in Camel, it's kind of like being in plank. It's hard to remember the things that made you frustrated or upset today because you're so focused on what it is that your body is doing, you can't think about the stress of life. What a beautiful way to live. Focused on the ways that I'm healing my body and not focused on the stress. Just lie there quietly for several more breaths. Feel the power of Shavasana as you lie on the mat. Bring just a little awareness back to your physical body, wherever you are, whatever room of your house you found your way into today. And then gently roll onto your right side. And bring yourself back up to seated. Once you come up to seated, I want you to bring your hands to heart center. Feel that strong heartbeat. Let your thumbs just rest right there. And I want you to tell yourself these words that will truly affirm the work that you've done in Camel. I deserve unconditional love. I deserve unconditional love. And it starts by me giving it to myself. And it starts by me giving it to myself. Don't just make those words you say on your yoga mat. Make them words you take into your day and make them become a pattern of life. Unconditional love extended to yourself. Namaste.